I collect rocks, more Petoskey stones than anything else, and I have a nice selection of tumblers from a couple of Lotto tumblers up to a Tumbler's Model B, which is a rotary that'll do 15 pounds of rock, period. What I haven't had and what I've wanted for a while is a large vibratory tumbler. And Gyrock makes a very nice large vibratory tumbler, but it's pretty expensive. So I decided to design and build my own, and it turns out I've met with considerable success. Not only that, but the tumbler is simple and can be built for about $100. I'm going to show you that tumbler, how it's built, some plans included in the video, just some rough sketches, and you can also build one just like it for at or a little bit over $100. I happen to have some of the materials used on hand, so there was no cash outlay for those items. Here is the finished vibratory tumbler. It's really pretty simple. I made the frame, the side pieces, out of a rocker that was headed for the dump. So I saved it from that fate. It cost me nothing. I cut it down to this size to make the two side pieces, and it works quite well. You could use just wooden legs or even no legs at all. Just set the finished tumbler on the ground on the bottom wood piece, and it would be fine, other than probably wanting to bounce some and walk around. An advantage of this one is that it does not walk. It stays in one place when it's running, which is a nice little bonus. These rocks, mostly Petoskey stones and other Devonian fossils, have already been tumbled in this machine. It only took 6 hours to complete the first stage, which was 120 grit. I'm going to turn it on just so you can get a quick look at it in operation, see some of the vibration and the fact that it does stay put. Going to turn it on so you can briefly see it in operation, see that it stands still, and there's nice action among the rocks. With no water and grit in there, it doesn't have full tumbling action. I'll show you another video with the rocks with water and grit. The hole for the bucket is cut at an angle to match the angle of the bucket itself. You can take a jigsaw and tilt the base to give you whatever angle you need. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but I do like the angle on the wood to roughly match the angle on the bucket so it wedges in there nicely. Here's a jigsaw that can be used for cutting out the circle in the hole that holds the bucket. And virtually every jigsaw you can adjust the blade angle by pivoting the base. This one is particularly easy. There's a locking lever here that you open up, and once you have it unlocked, you can pivot the base to any angle that you need, and then just push the locking lever in and lock it in place. That's just a random angle. That's probably close to about what I may have used to cut out the hole to house the bucket. If you ran the tumbler without a top cover in place, it would allow it to spit out bits of water and rock snot, which wouldn't be incredibly messy, but no need to have a mess that you can avoid. Plus, if you leave it open, it loses water that needs to be replaced. As you tumble, you have to add some water anyway, as the rock snot gets thicker. Having a top on just is better for both keeping the area clean and making it requiring fewer additions of water as you're tumbling. Here you see the wooden cover pressed in place in the top of the bucket. There's simply a rope going through a hole on this end, and that rope, once the rope is run across the top of the bucket, it's fed through this screw eye and through this clam cleat, which is a boating item commonly used on sailboats to lock a rope in place. The top board is mounted to the bottom board with 4 compression springs. The exact size of those is not the least bit crucial. Those happen to be 1-inch diameter by about 4.5 inches, and then I just drilled 1-inch holes into the wood that the springs fit in, and on the bottom board I squirted in some glue from a hot glue gun to secure them in place. These springs then allow the top plate to wiggle and move freely. As you can see here, just giving a little bit of a nudge with the foot, and it's free to move around, which is what it needs to do when it's vibrating. This is a sketch of the parts that went into building my tumbler with dimensions shown. A 2x12 is actually just over 11 inches wide. This is the industrial vibration motor that I bought on eBay for $59. It's rated at 280 watts. Here's the 12-quart Little Giant rubber bucket that I bought on Amazon to serve as the tumbler barrel. It was just over $22. That's about 15 pounds of rocks. Obviously, quite a bit more could go into that bucket, probably 25 pounds. So I'm basically calling it a 20-pound tumbler, which is conservative. These rocks were tumbled in 120 grit for 6 hours, and that was enough time to finish that particular stage in there. I've got some video I shot when I tumbled these and showing them wet, taking them out. I'll add a few of those in here to show you what they look like. These have been running for about 6 hours. Let's clean them up, see what they look like. I won't show all of the rocks from the first tumble. This is one of the larger ones here, a Petoskey stone. And this is just a preliminary step where a fairly coarse grit is used to smooth them a little bit, clean them up a lot. It gives you a good idea whether the rock is going to be worth continuing with to a final polish. This is a Petoskey stone that is not pure limestone, but instead contaminated with silica. It won't take a nice polish. I think this fossil is called Clapidora. This one's a favicite, also called a Charlevoix stone.